Okay, I'm here. First of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank Esther for always being here with us.
Yeah. It's a leading edge experience for her that she craves. No
Yeah.
place she'd rather be.
Yeah. Thank you, honey, for bringing me here. Not the ship, bringing me here in life. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions, as you can imagine, but I will give. I want to make one especially. 1 hour ago, you were talking about how you feel about everybody. I need to calm down. About how people can drag you up with their vibrations. And the thing is that I have a job. Well, it's not a job, usually. I have a lot of people in my country. And the thing is, like, they have a low vibration. And they sometimes drag me down, very down. And I'm trying to help them, but I cannot help them when they drag me down so much.
It seems like they're dragging you down. But what's happening is they are in their condition. As you focus upon it, it's activating a vibration within you that's causing resistance, that's keeping you from going where you want to go.
Yes.
So it isn't that they're doing it to you. In fact, you're not having a vibrational response to them.
Yes.
It's that your awareness of them is the response to your vibration. And you're practicing it even in this conversation. So the conversation goes, I want to help people, but they drag me down.
No, I wanna put it better. I wanna help people, but the thing is, like, I love helping them. I feel this amazing energy when the things happens, but sometimes, well, not sometimes, it is just the initial steps when you start taking these people, and you start to help them. But the time is when you get them in the low vibrations, I have a lot of issues. But when they get to the result, the final result, I have a lot of joy.
So let's find the path of least resistance on this subject. So start in the place where you began. Make the first statement that you make. I want to help people, and then what was the next thing you said? But they drag me down.
Yeah, they drag me down because... Okay.
It's all right. I want to help people, but they drag me down. Now, you can feel the resistance in that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. In other words, Esther in the beginning would say, but it's true, Abraham, but it's true, as if because it was true, then it was all right for her to keep saying it. And we say there's a lot of things that are true that you don't want to be active in your vibration, and that aren't on your path of less resistance or on your path of most allowance. So I want to help people, but they drag me down is the way it seems right now. Make a statement that is less resistant in nature. I want to help people.
I want to help people that can bring me up with what happens in the final steps.
So are you saying you want to focus upon people that make you feel better?
No. I join with people that had the same issue that happens to me years ago. Then I help them to get to their final result that is an amazing result in their lives. And the thing is, like, they are in the lower vibrations when they start, and they are in the higher vibrations when they end. But in the middle of that steps, I confuse myself a lot.
So you're saying you're paying too great of a price for their discovery?
Yes, in the first steps, yes.
Well, first we want to say to you that that is vibrationally illogical.
Yeah.
Because we do acknowledge that in knowing what you don't want, you get clear about what you do want. And we do acknowledge that sometimes if you are having a response to the condition that is them, that sometimes it can activate within you something that it keeps you from your connection. But we want to say this to you. No one ever activates something in you that isn't already there to be activated. But all of the potential vibrations, it's like your radio station has the ability to tune into a lot of different frequencies, and it's not tuned in to all of them at once. Law of attraction says you have propensities, you have probabilities, you have things that are likely to happen. And so over time, you just get better and better at holding your thoughts in places that feel better and better. We've been saying to Esther recently, and there's a big piece of what you were talking about that she has been working on a little bit too. And that is, in your desire to be of value to others, sometimes you give more attention to the others than is good for you. And so this feeling of being of service to others, which is something that you want because you are an uplifter and you want to be of value, it backfires because you're looking to what is their path of least resistance more than you are looking toward what is your path of least resistance. You have to care all of the time, not just some of the time, about the way you feel. So you have to go as far as you can go in any moment in time with someone without giving up your alignment. So what's really going to help you, it's going to help all of you, is that when you realize that your work in uplifting others is to find a way of focusing upon them and feeling good, not needing their entire condition to change before you can feel good. In other words, you can dream for them and feel good. Yeah. So what you are just describing to us is what we were just describing earlier to all of you. It's this thing that goes something like, my vortex version of you makes me feel good when I focus upon it, but the reality that you are living makes me feel bad when I focus upon it. So I need you to make your reality version match my vortex version so that I can feel good about you. And what we want to say is, it's not their job to change the condition so that you can feel good. You've just got to do a better job of staying in concert with your vortex version of them. So everything that you're saying to us is that I, in my human form, and it's logical, I'm still a little more influenced by the reality that people are living than the promise of what can be. What is has more of my attention than what is in the state of becoming. And it's always going to be that way. There's always going to be this gap between what is right now and what you're dreaming. That's why the leading edge is so intoxicating, you see.
Yes.
Did we get there?
I totally get it. I totally get it.
Be really easy about it. The people, we love you so much, who are teachers, which really includes those of you who have gathered here. Your desire to uplift is your greatest dream and your greatest desire, and it has the potential of your greatest satisfaction. But it is also your greatest curse, because you cannot control their response to you, and you cannot control their response to their own life. And so sometimes when you get fixated on someone that you're insisting to yourself that you're going to help, and you fashion a vortex version, and you focus upon it and find it, and you fashion a vortex version, and you focus upon it and you find it, and they just don't come, and they just don't come, and they just don't come, and they just don't come.
And they gave a lot of excuses.
They just don't come, and they just don't come, and they just don't come, and they just don't come. Sometimes you have to let that be a condition that you just let go of. Jerry was, in his teenage years and just beyond, a lifeguard in New Orleans. And his instructor said to him, Jerry, you may come into a situation where someone is so resistant to your explanation to what you need them to do that you have to let them drown. And Jerry said, well, I could never do that. My whole reason for doing any of this is to save them. And the instructor said, if they drown you, you'll save no one. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't need to be that dramatic. But what we're saying to you is, if something causes you to lose your connection, then it's a condition that's too big and it is unnecessary. And so let's talk about this path of least resistance. This path of least resistance. So let's just talk about conceptually the path of least resistance. So you're going down a roadway and the sign has said, stay in your lane. And there's a strong white line that indicates don't cross over this line. And there's a wall on the other side that prevents you from crossing into anything to the right. And so you're driving along, and because you are alert, you see a great big pothole, an axle breaking pothole. But you have been told by the sign to stay in your lane. We want you to ask yourself, if you were in that situation, what's your path of least resistance? Some of you would break your axle before you would break a rule. Some of you break rules constantly. You don't give a rip about them. As long as you're not going to have a head-on collision with anybody, you're just going to go out there. But each individual, you have to decide what is your path of least resistance from where you are. So as your society tries to control the behavior of each other, thinking that it will find peace and harmony by controlling or restricting behavior, we're wanting you to understand that it is by giving yourself the absolute freedom and power to choose that is the path to the happily ever after that you are all reaching for, you see. And so sometimes you have to give up on the service to something else while you acknowledge the call, the powerful call of the source within you.
Yes.
You cannot be guided by rules. You must be inspired from broader perspective. You cannot be bound by beliefs that hinder you. You must be inspired by who you really are. You cannot be bound by what is and find the leading edge of what is coming at the same time. When you think about the past, it hinders you from your future. But even when you think about the present, it hinders you from the reality that is already carved out vibrationally. You're beginning to sense that, aren't you? You're beginning to know that.
Yes.
So we want to say these things about you that we know for sure, about all of you that we know for sure. You must be on the leading edge to be at your highest joy. You must be in sync with the whole of you to be at your highest joy. You must be in a state of non-resistance to be at your state of clarity, which is your highest joy. You must be in alignment with all that you are in order to be of any value to anyone else. So the highest level of service to all of those whom you wish to uplift is that you must first be so well practiced in being in alignment with who you are, because that's where your clarity comes from and that's where your timing comes from. Ooh. People who know you benefit dramatically by your leadership if you have managed to stay in alignment. But they don't benefit by any leadership that you offer from a conditional standpoint. You see what we're getting at?
Yes, totally. Totally.
We like that you hear that.